Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we have a bit of an unusual game because I have no dog in this fight. Well, one of my acquaintances, Vimes, is playing against some fellow hand soap over here who's playing red for. Oh no, my apologies. Vimes is playing red and it looks like hand soap is playing blue, so Vimes will be having his usual Eastern block deck. Means a lot of very fast, very good scouting units, and we can see them getting on the way already. SPZ BMP2s are a tad slow for choice though, and he's spreading out quite a lot. So we have an MI-17 heading over to Gulf, and just a bunch of units heading in both directions, while the Blue 4 player has a very light contingent heading over to Bravo, and quite a lot heading right down the pipe. So we can see there's a bunch of Martyr 1s. These M163 CSs are wonderful fire support / anti-air, and a double Magotch 6 Bet Gall. So that should tell you right there just the diversity of units. This is a generic Blue 4 deck, so we have things like the Hawk Pip 3 and the, I believe, West German, Panzer Mars HS-30, and Smoke here is going to be giving Hand Soap a very forward position. So, Jägeri right off the bat, out and into the open, trying to get good scouting forward, and let's see what he can see at the moment. So not much of anything at all, but there is a Gazelle that's headed all the way back into Vimes' home zone. So it spots, and then Sokol, and that Sokol is going to be taking him out, but this was extraordinarily risky. So if we take a look, the fob was right there, nearly spotted. The command vehicle for Vimes was right here as well, very nearly spotted, and this is not going to go well. So here's an interesting thing. LSTR are elite infantry, that's true. Przminski are fine on their own. T-72S, there's a lot of meat here for Vimes, but it's not going to be all that effective. Jägeri are, well, getting killed in the open field, but Sochung-Su and Panzergren getting into the woods is awful. Nice play by Hansup as well, keeping the K200s. Oh, they might be going a bit too far up. No, actually, this is beautiful. So the Sochung-Su engage, and then the K200s come up to support, and that means that they're not going to be getting killed. And look at that wonderful stunning and killing of all of Vimes' infantry just dead in a heartbeat. And most of Hand Soap's is getting out alive. The Magotch 6 is also retreating from that T-72S, and this looks like it could be catastrophic very quickly. However, there is a sacrifice for that, and that's map control. So if Vimes can weather the storm, then he'll probably be alright. And we have a thermo bomber coming in. This is, of course, the, well, thermobaric, I suppose. At least that's what I think it is. But napalm plus an explosion is good enough for right now, and that was absolutely beautiful. Stunned, hammered that Blue 4 advance, and there's still a lot left here. Panzergren, the M163s, Martyr 1s, but enough of that force died that it might be a bit challenging. Just a T-72S and a Strop 2, as well as a Sokol moving up for Vimes, and this is open bear. The Blue 4 player could probably get away with rushing and being alright, although the T-72 would take its toll on the vehicles here pretty quickly. Panzergren and Sochung-Su could almost certainly secure that forward forest, but if we take a look in, there's Sochung-Su in Delta that will be sparring with some of Vimes' Schützen, but in terms of overall map control, I mean, this looks pretty nice. There's a Snezka, O64C, Golf is capped, MI-17 moving up this way. Not as bad from Hand Soap as I thought it would be either. So there's a fair amount of infantry here. They'll be able to secure just fine. Gewehrman, bit of an odd choice. These guys are 10-point militia. Well, no. Okay, Gewehrman. I mixed these up with the militia for Scandi, but I guess they are regular strength. And a whole bunch of reinforcements coming in. I think Hand Soap probably smells blood in the water and is going to be attempting to get his reinforcements up to this front line and just continuing to move. At least that's probably what I would do. I, of course, am a little bit over reckless sometimes, and that does come back to bite me. It very much does, as those who've played with and against me will very well know. I'm not an expert player by far, but this is just, I find the replays fun. I think it's fun to give my 2 cents, and this particular neutral setting was requested by a viewer, so, well, aim to please. If we take a look right now at the Blue 4 perspective, the only thing visible is a Sokol, and that will be getting killed by a Flak Panzer Gepard pretty quickly. I mean, yeah, this isn't one of the big boy Gepards, but its gun is good enough, and down goes the Sokol. Nothing visible here, but probably a good guess that it's not completely empty, and yeah, I don't know. If it were me, I probably would have been pushing up some scout infantry. I mean, the Bradley CFV is nice, but replacing those scouting infantry that were in the forward woods would be a very good idea, and there's no scouting here at all, so that's why this zone is completely dead. If we take a look at what Vimes can see, just overall, well, oops, neutral. Take a look at what Vimes can see, it's also similarly not much. So Snezka's trying to fill out that scouting difference and just keep an eye on his opponent. And if we take a look back here, Alpha is a little risky. So the Snezkas are doing excellent work. I think they did take down some sort of transport, yes. Probably with the infantry inside by the look of it, over in the back of Alpha. And we have an AMX-10 RC that's a bit too far in the woods to really see much of anything. Conquer's team in defensive position, and Mochutsen will be moving up, I think, shortly to engage with those Sochung-Su. Martyr ones, this is a bit risky. I've seen ATGMs out of this section of woods before, sometimes ATGM vehicles. Maybe not quite so much when these sections of woods are just completely captured by the opposing team. But still, a bit risky as always to move those across open ground, and now here we have one of the engagements that of course we all love in this game. So Mochutsen engaging with Sochung-Su, and it's initially a bad fight for Mochutsen, right? So these guys are by no means elite. Sochung-Su aren't either, but K200s and Sochung-Su both firing at Mochutsen in the open would be very deadly. So they snap the town, and that will be a lot better. The towns, I think, do give more protection than do the forests, and now the SPWs are opening up. So this very quickly turned around from a bad engagement for Red 4 to a good engagement. Sochung-Su are stunned, should be retreating, but they're not, and they will almost certainly be wiped out. If we look up here, very nice job resupplying this force from Hansoap, so the Megachis are nearly back to full strength, and these Mankatis almost certainly have enough blood, guns, and bullets in the back of their pickup trucks to complete that. So that is... this is, again, it's going to be a dangerous thing. The Strop 2 and the T-72S are able to fend things off, but this Strop 2 is in a dangerous position. I would have moved him back. Sneaking ATGM teams forward as well would have been probably pretty nice for the Blue 4 player, although it's not something I can often do myself. And now that Snezka just proving to be absolutely vicious, taking out more transports and more Gewehrmen. These guys are only 10 points each, but the stress here from feeling like you got threaded through has to be high. And the inability to bring out more reinforcements, I mean, that's, what, 20 points right there per? At least. So 40 points plus the replacements that have to come in to hunt down that Snezka. And we have also an MI-17 that might be getting up to some shenanigans in Bravo, so a nice wide field from the Red 4 player. I don't know, it doesn't look too unbalanced right now. Blue 4 clearly has the lead in terms of points, I would say, at least kills, rather, just from the opener. But the capturing points are relatively stable, so we have 0 for Hansoap versus 7 for Vimes, not much of a difference there. T-72 engaging way too close range. We got 6 Spec Gauls are made for this. 10 points, 17 AP, and that's knife fighting range against heavier tanks. They will punch above their weight. So the T-72S just should never have been there that long with the Blue 4 team controlling this forest. With that said, we do also have a Totu moving up. I guess it's the big answer to the Snezka. A bit of overkill, but I mean, this guy's taken down even more infantry, shooting at a Gazelle, finally out of ammunition is what stops this mad lad right here. Which, I mean, that's something. And this is something I've never seen before either. So an AMX-10 RC proving that the amphibious stats on those French vehicles are nothing to scoff at, and 43 kilometers per hour in the water is ridiculous. Sochung-Su, however, get melted by the Strop, and now we have good supporting fire from Snezka's moving forward, and again, just a dearth of scouting, a dearth of recon units. This guy probably has no idea what's killing him, and if we take a look, yeah, no, brief visibility maybe on the Snezkas, but not a whole lot else, and that is going to be a definite problem. Plus we have that Thermomig coming in once again, and even if it's not a big hit, it might be enough to cause a second panic. I mean, the first, well, maybe not. That was a bit of a swing and a miss. The Megach 6s are stunned, yeah, but barely any kills on that. Ugh. First one was way better. Mochutsen engaging in the woods and SPW supporting, very nice, and those RPG-7s are enough to take him down. That prompts an immediate response from Hansoap, however, so Commandos moving up, M113A1s moving up, and the Snezka out of ammo, trying to retreat. This is just really goofy. He's going to retreat right into K200s and not be able to shoot, so it's not exactly ideal for him. But now we have a bit of forward movement here. I think that helicopter was probably taken out by a Mistral. Maybe we can find the corpse of it? Maybe, maybe not. No, I don't quite see it. So, a little unfortunate there, but what can you do? And we have, of all things, a resupply helo. I mean, this is not cheap. 35 points is not entirely cheap coming out, and he's bringing it out just for this Snezka, which, I mean, I can't even be mad. That Snezka is worth his weight in gold. We do also have more fire coming in, and yeah, I believe this was a howitzer at this point, and Panzergren down to half strength, at least one martyr killed. Let's take a look at that. Yes, that's going to be Pivonia, and that did more work than the Thermomig did, and having been on the receiving end of a bunch of artillery lately with a run of bad games, so I've gotten myself into a bit of a bad situation recently. With that, persistent howitzer fire can be absolutely brutal. In fact, I think I have, if I haven't shown it already, I think I have a nice 3v3 that just is artillery hell. Should be up on the channel soon if it isn't already. A little bit embarrassing, I can't remember that, but I've done so many replays recently. They kind of, it's not that they blur together, it's just, it's a little weird when you're recording at one point and then, well, playing at the other, right? So I effectively play a game 2 or maybe even 3 times, looking at what's going on and getting ready for this. Thermomig coming in again, and let's see what effect this has. Down neutral. Panzergren, Magach, direct hit on the Magachs, direct hit on the Flak Panzer, and there was a Binken launch because that Hawk Pip gave away his position firing that radar gun and, well, radar missile, I suppose, and that should draw artillery fire or some sort of response. Not a lot of kills here again, so the Magach is able to get out of the way. 1 health left. It's not bad, honestly. Oh, hey, killed. Killed by the napalm. Wait, whoa. Both tanks killed by the napalm? Jeez. Okay, fair enough. 120 points off of that bombing run in sheer kills, let alone damage, and I really can't complain about that. That's pretty nice. I mean, this forward position was held really strongly by Blue 4 right when they took it, and now maybe not so much, so we might see a creeping push out from that sector. Motschützen, meanwhile, just holding strong, probably should have pushed the commandos in already, and it looks like he's reading my mind because they're moving forward, and these guys, I think, it'll depend on how the infantry fighting vehicles are used, but in a straight-up fight, they should beat Motschützen. Looks like shock training there. No, I mean, shock training, the extra 5 points don't mean it. Well, mini-me. Okay, better tertiary. That will make the difference, but now there's Red 4 control over this side of the map. Snezka's moving up to try to cut off reinforcements, and this could be very deadly, but not that Snezka gets too close to So Chung-Su, not at all, if that's the case, and it looks like there was artillery fire, not quite enough to kill the Hawk Pip, but it definitely looks like initiative has shifted, and now the Blue 4 player is really on the back foot. Another couple zones capped, well actually just Charlie capped for Vimes, so he's taking out +2, finally up to 35 points to Hansoap's 10, and this, yeah, maybe not. So force pathing the Motschützen forward, it will get them into the town, but they're getting shredded by commandos. It actually got out of range of them, so that works. But one group stunned, the other one, I don't know if they'll be able to make it in. Wait. Were they not force pathing to the town? I don't know, maybe they lost it when they got the stun, but those commandos are going to cut through the SPWs like a knife through butter, and we can see that already right now. Second shot should be on the way. No? Okay, so they're not firing that. Oof. Nice set of bombs coming in, and a Hornet is sent out to answer, but not able to get that kill against the Red 4 jets. So it looks like even more men moving up, but I kind of question the utility of this at the moment, right? Because if he's just trying to hold this forest, there haven't been attempts to push from Vimes through the woods yet. So I don't know, and I think that's where they're going, unless it's maybe a weird reinforcement route into Delta. I could see that. Sometimes reinforcement routes are screwy, and that Hornet circling is going to be a nice defensive maneuver. Motschützen getting killed by just attrition against So Chung-Su, but more Motschützen coming in, and this should be pretty nice. So Chung-Su won't be able to stand up to a triple stack there, and if you can get into the ooey gooey goodness inside this town, there's a Chumat team just begging to be killed by line infantry, and let's see where these NM-135s, yep, one of them taking off toward the woods. This is now really dangerous. There should have probably been a tank here from the Red 4 player, but such is life. And yeah, I mean, this is well secured. The Red 4 advantage on the side could probably be pressed, but honestly, these guys could all be moving forward too. There's a single Conquerors team between him and all of Gulf, and I think pushing in kind of cost Vimes his map control on this side, which had been pretty consistent, but the AMX-10 RC, oh, that's a lucky crit. Weapons jammed, killed by the Snezkas when he shouldn't have been. That must be absolutely infuriating for the Blue 4 player to deal with. Meanwhile, Gewehrman and the NM-135s, these guys are really nice infantry fighting vehicles. They should be able to put a pounding on the Motschützen, but yeah, too far forward. These guys are going to get caught in the open and killed, and that's an expensive mistake. 10 points for the NM-135s, 10 points for the Gewehrman. That's what, oof. 20, 40, 80 points down the drain this late in the game. You cannot afford that, especially when you're already losing on points there, and that's going to be a surrender on the part of Hand Soap, so tad unfortunate there, but 600 kills to 710 is a very close margin, and I think Hand Soap just kind of lost it right at the end there. A couple bad pushes, otherwise he had a dominant position at the start, could have probably taken advantage of it a little bit better. So that's the neutral perspective, at least as best as I can do it when one of the players is admittedly a friend of mine, but that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.